Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm John Lazarus with Stories Matter and D&E Publishing. I want you to forget everything you think you know about fiction. Forget about plotting, about prose, about basic grammar. Forget everything I've taught you as well. Forget that I told you I go to support groups under false pretenses to get story ideas. And forget anything that might indicate I'm somehow culpable for D&E offices burning down in 2021. The reason I'm asking you to do this is because we need to focus on the most essential part of creating good fiction. Bad fiction doesn't fail because it uses too many adverbs, or because the story pacing lags, or because the author's name came up in the Epstein files a bunch of times. It fails because the readers don't make emotional connections to the stories they're reading. Crappily written books can still succeed if they manipulate the reader with cheap emotional tricks. You have to remember, readers are desperately lonely people. If it's helpful, imagine your reader as a stupid dog, and that you just need a few well-timed treats and belly rubs to get them to love you until they die in 3 or 4 years. There's science that supports this too. Readers remember more about stories they connect with emotionally. Many years ago at D&E offices, I ran an experiment where several interns were asked to read books from the D&E catalog. We connected electrodes to their brain and chest to monitor their brainwaves and heart rate. Books that elicited higher heart rates also had more stable brainwave patterns. But after 10 hours, the books whose emotional arcs didn't pay off left readers bored and confused, not to mention forgetful and dangerously dehydrated. If you feel like these are cheap tricks meant for writers looking to earn a quick buck, you are actually doing the world a service because reading makes people more empathetic. One quick look around the world today should tell you that we need more empathy. And as you search for this emotional truth in your writing, it may even bleed over into your personal life. For example, I always round to the nearest dollar to give money to kids mutilated by the corporations I buy things from. And at my job, I put a lot more effort into playing matchmaker for my employees. We'll reveal personal details we probably shouldn't on this edition of Stories Matter.
I'm never going to amount to anything. It's my fault he cheats on me. Everyone's going to realize I'm a fraud. I'm not special. Why can't I stop jacking off in department store dressing rooms? Why did I buy 3 birthday cakes for myself? Ugly fucking bitch. Fuck you, you stupid cow. Spread eagle was awesome, and he's still not calling me. Feel like you can't turn off the noise? Help has never been closer. Hubbard Telehealth offers online therapy with a group of specialists who provide auditing sessions 24/7. One 30-minute chat with our experts will have you feeling refreshed and unburdened, almost as if you were boofing good vibes directly inside you. Call Hubbard Telehealth today to see which income bracket you fall in and therefore which services you qualify for.
Strategy 1. Open your characters and yourself up to vulnerability. Writing should make you emotional. If you're writing a funny passage, you should be laughing. If you're writing a tense, chilling passage, you should feel uncomfortable walking around your home at night. And if you're writing an erotic scene, you should at least get the baristas to consider asking you to leave the Starbucks. My suggestion? Don't keep your reader at an ironic distance. At some point in your story, your characters should bare their soul. And that's the great thing about fiction. We can do this with make-believe people and make money instead of spending our own money on therapy. I sob all the time when I'm writing. Now, it's not always due to my writing, in fairness. Well, sometimes it's a side effect of the stimulants I take to keep me productive. Or sometimes I just think about the fact that my second wife's new husband's company is still making record profits even in this economy. But that will translate to your character and also to your reader. Strategy 2. Keep the reveals spare and vary your emotions. However, you can't barrage your reader with this vulnerability. Remember that our emotional state is complex. If you're anything like me, you feel at least 3 or 4 different emotions every day. Some days I wake up thinking I'll never get Cindy back. But then I'll see a car accident on the side of the road and imagine it's her new husband, and I start to feel a little better. The big emotional reveal in my novel, The House on Payne Avenue, is when Daniel stands up to his father and tells him that if he can't accept him for being gay, then their relationship is over. But throughout the novel, Daniel goes through many other mini emotional arcs. There's the shock he experiences once he finds out 9/11 may have been an inside job. And there's the joy he gets to experience when his older siblings' frat brothers run a train on him. Your characters will seem more human if you allow them this type of emotional complexity. Strategy 3. Plot out your story by emotional arcs first. Imagine your character's emotional state as a Cartesian plane. The x-axis just stands for time. Everything above on the positive side of the x-axis is a positive emotion like love and contentment. And everything below the x-axis is a negative emotion like jealousy and anger over losing money in a crypto scam. Your character's arc should look like a sinusoidal wave as your story progresses. Once you finish your story, you need to use this formula to calculate the integral, where a is the amplitude of the wave, omega is the angular frequency, and phi is the phase shift. If your answer is 0 from T1 to T2, you've done your job. So, for example, when I wrote my novel Minge, I knew it was going to start with Minge feeling a deep sense of grief, and the arc of the story would be about overcoming that grief. So I had to think, what can instill a sense of grief? Well, what if she had gotten fired from her job because she yelled some racial insults at a heckler during an open mic night? And then I had my story. Strategy 4. Emotional mapping. Finally, one thing I find helpful is to write all the main characters of the story on a page. Draw all of your characters on a page and put them in a circle. Then draw lines between your characters to show how they have changed one another. If you do it correctly, your map should look something like this. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll leave you with this week's This Day in Literary History. See you on the next one.